Good day, and welcome to the Budding Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Bridges. In each episode, I cover my experiences, both good and bad, of being a business builder, as well as my journey through the crazy world of entrepreneurship to reach my goal of earning $10 million a year. All right, we're on episode 105 of the Budding Entrepreneur Podcast, and we're doing week 3 of July in 2023 for those of you who are keeping tabs on how fast things are going for us here. I'm going to keep this one a bit short today, but I got to tell you that doing the week by week podcast where I'm giving a progress report, if you will, has been very helpful to me personally because I'm actually able to look backwards and see what the growth has been through the course of the given month. So I want to kind of share that with you. Hopefully, if you're able to do something like this in your own business, this will be good for you and you'll come away from it going, wow, I'm actually getting things done I didn't know. So the first section we're covering here is what are the books that I'm committed to completing before the end of the month. One of them we talked about before, The Gap and the Gain. Now, that particular book, I'm moving through very slowly because the concepts of it are a little different, right? I don't want to just take things and say that a book is easy to read. As you're coming into new concepts, as you're coming into new items, things that you've not thought about, you have to slow down. Take your book, make it actually part of you. I do something called immersive learning, which is I just dive in and kind of bring everything that I can to the surface above me. And so I'm down in essentially the water and working with the topic. The other book I'm working on is Buy Back Your Time. This was suggested. It was a part of a course that I had downloaded and was listening to. And it's really actually a very good book. I really like it. So you'll see a little bit more about why Buy Back Your Time is important to me right now because, well, we'll talk about that in our topics. Right now, going through the program, I have essentially 2 things that I have to do that are on my to-do list. One of them is I'm launching a Facebook group for service businesses. That's one that I'm working on right now. Next year, sometime, I'm going to do another one on LinkedIn and focus on professional services. So this would be attorneys, this would be financial people, tax people, people that are credentialed is another way of looking at it. And another to-do thing I'm actually doing separate from the launching of the groups is building my own marketing calendar. So I'm able to plan how I'm going to present information, when, and make sure that I can actually fulfill a decent schedule by having it planned in advance. As I'm going through the Wealthy Consultant, this is the Launch Kit program, which is the essentially entry level to consultants. I'm studying a couple of new things. One of them is organic marketing. That's something I've been dealing with back since the days of Traffic and Funnels. And Kara Bell, who was the first one to bring that to my attention, was really good at explaining this whole process of how to write organically so that people will find it because you're hitting a topic that people are actually asking about. Within the Launch Kit program, I'm moving into Module 6. This is where we get into scale tactics. We start formalizing our own business structure of how we're going to do things. And then we start implementing dashboards to be able to monitor how we're doing things and what we're doing. Dashboards are really important. It's kind of like trying to fly a plane without this set of instruments in front of you telling you where you're going. If you're just flying by visibility, you're going to see pretty quickly that you're not going to see a lot. You're not going to see anything going on behind you. You won't see anything coming in from the side of you, and you're going to get hit. It's going to be a bad thing. So dashboards and, flight instruments, if you think about it that way, these dashboards are
pure instruments for how your business is quote unquote flying. Another thing that I did, we had originally talked about having our program being built as a 1.0 product and getting it to a 2.0 product. Right now, I'm moving this from some of the feedback that I've received and some of the things that I've seen people struggle with. I'm now moving my program into a 3.0, getting it tighter, getting it more specific. We're looking for words and things that people can understand. For example, a North Star specialization. That is not a strange term for a lot of people. Everybody kind of understands what North Star is. It's how do you guide yourself when everything else is you're going without any sunlight. You're just going by the stars, and the North Star is your one point that helps you to get your bearings regardless of what's happening. The last thing I'm doing is relative to the buy back your time, and I'm looking to integrate some VAs into my business, virtual assistants. And it's kind of common now for people to do that. A few years back, it was not a common thing. And so as I'm going through this, the VA integration is something that was both suggested and also something I just said, hey man, I got to do this. There's a lot of challenges now in doing VA integration because things like your email, everybody wants your phone to be with you so that you can, they can send you a code and you prove you are who you are. It's the trust but verify concept, and it's really impacting a lot of people, not just myself, but a lot of my clients are just annoyingly impacted because they have to have that phone attached to their hip. And as you are building your business, you tend to not necessarily carry your phone with you every minute of every day. You're working off of your computer. You're working off of your iPad or your tablet. You're working off of other things besides your phone. And it's getting to a point now where people are struggling with it because they don't like to be, tied down and leashed up to their phone, especially as, if you really stop and think about it, the government and investigation agencies are now using your phone to tell where you are, who is within an area. And we're learning this dramatically from January 6th is that was how they kind of caught everybody, and they knew who was there and they knew where they were. They were on the Capitol grounds. And whether you think that that was a good thing or a bad thing, the simple fact of the matter is that all these people were carrying around essentially a target on their back going, here I am. And the government went, oh, look, we can just buy that information and use it however we need to. So there's some issues in there, privacy being the biggest one. But, you got to kind of think about that and take a look at that. So as I'm going through my program, Module 6 is about scale, and that's where I am now. It's really helping me to look at my business and think longer term. And I'm also able to use that within my program that I'm revising. As I'm tuning it, I'm going from 2.0 to 3.0. So now it's just a matter of, okay, how can I add this scaling component and make it work? So that's kind of what we're going to do today. It's going to be a relatively short one. I think we're coming up on 10 minutes now. But the idea here is I want to go through this week and give you those pieces of the puzzle that I'm dealing with. Next week is going to be a planning session for the following month. As we roll into August here in Indiana, August is kind of where you start looking toward winter. Things start slowing down. All the kids come back to school. We have Purdue University here in West Lafayette. But all the kids come back, but then the jobs start slowing down a little bit. Things start coming down. People are dealing with their kids going back to school. And there's just a lot of a change that occurs in August and into September. So I want to make sure that August is front loaded with as much value to myself as I can get. So, for the budding entrepreneur, this is Randy Bridges signing off, wishing you the best in your health, your wealth, your business, your family, everything about you. Take care. Have a great day. We'll see you next week.